Привет! So this video is to help distinguish between aspect pairs and to help learn imperfective and perfective pairs of verbs. If you can't tell from the context, then looking at the verb form might be another little clue as to whether you're dealing with a perfective and imperfective verb. So here we go. There's a couple patterns that we can look for. So here's the first pattern, prefixes. So here's some verbs that we know, along with their perfective pairs that we might not know. So we've got pisat, napisat, чистить, почистить, слушать, послушать. So you can see that the perfective verb is formed by adding a prefix. We've got na, po, po. Different verbs will have different prefixes. Po is a very common one. There is, unfortunately, an exception, because what is language without exceptions? And that is pakupat and kupit. Now, with this pair, the imperfective verb, pakupat, is the one that has the prefix. So that's kind of a weird one to remember. And the kupit, to buy, does not have a prefix. So there's our first pattern, is prefix verbs are usually perfective. Next pattern, pattern number 2, suffixes. So you guys, I'm sure, all know that a prefix comes at the beginning of a word. Suffix comes at the end of the word. And in our case, it's going to come more towards the middle because we have the T soft sign of all verbs as our ending. So it comes right before that T soft sign. So in this pattern, the imperfective verb is going to be longer. What we saw here with the prefixes, we can see that the perfective verb is usually longer because it has a prefix. In this pattern, pattern number 2 with the suffixes, the imperfective verb is longer because it has that additional suffix in the middle. The most common suffix that we see with imperfective verbs is iva. So it's usually spelled like this. And see, here are some examples. Apazdivat and apazdat, to be late. Atkrivat and atkrit, to open. Raskazivat and raskazat, to tell or to talk about. Zabuivat, zabuit, to forget. And zakanchivat and zakonchit, to finish something. And you can see here we have ivat instead of uivat because of our lovely 7-letter spelling rule, right? What's right before it? A cha. Cha is in the 7-letter spelling rule, so we can't write ui, we have to write e. So zakanchivat, zakonchit. There's a couple other suffixes. This uivat is the most common one, but here are some that we've already seen. Stavat and vstat. Caitlin vstayot, right? In the present tense, the ava drops out, and we've just got vstayot. So to wake up, stavat, vstat, and nachinat, nachat, to begin. So here are 2 more suffixes that we might see, and there are a couple other ones. These are the ones that we'll be dealing with the most. So the uva one is really the one to know because it happens the most frequently. Okay, now on to our third pattern, which is a conjugation change. So we all know there are 2 types of verb conjugations. There's type 1, which is words like работать, работаю, я работаю, ты работаешь, писать, я пишу, ты пишешь, мы пишем. And then there's type 2, which usually ends in an it in the infinitive. Говорю, говорит, я говорю, ты говоришь, он говорит. So type 1 and type 2. So a lot of times we'll have a perfective and imperfective pair where one verb is type 1, the other verb is type 2. When we have this pattern, the imperfective verb is always type 1, the perfective verb is always type 2. So you can remember this because in dictionaries and on the Mejdunami website and all of the information that we'll present, we'll always present the imperfective verb first, then a slash, and then the perfective verb. So the verb that comes first in this pattern, and likewise, is a type 1, and the verb that comes second is a type 2, and it's perfective. So let's look at an example, because it's kind of hard to see in the abstract. So here we have an imperfective verb, paftariat. It's type 1. You can see its conjugation here. And here is its perfective pair, paftarit. So this word means to repeat. And you can see this one is type 2, and this one is type 1. And you can really see that the only thing that's separating these 2 verbs is the vowel at the end, paftariat, paftarit. They look very similar. So it's very obvious that they go together, that they're a pair. And then in the conjugation, they're super similar. Ya paftariayo, ya paftariu. Down here, ani paftariayot, ani paftariat. So the difference is in the conjugation type. Type 1, type 2. And there are some more of these pairs on the Mejanami website in 6.2 if you want some more examples. And then our last pattern, pattern number 4, is verbal pairs that have a different root. This is nothing new to us as native English speakers. We have lots of verbs that have different roots in different forms. So like the verb to go. I go, I am going, I like to go, whatever. Past tense, it changes to went. I went, she went. Go, went, like, where does that come from? Not clear. Russian has the same thing. We have some aspect pairs that are from different roots. So just from looking at them, if you didn't know them already, you probably wouldn't know that they make up a pair. Let's look at some ones that we've seen already. Говорить, to say, and сказать. You can see there's not much going on here that is overtly logical. Here's another pair. Брать, взять, to take. And our last one, понимать, понять, to understand. So when we have verbal pairs with different roots, they're a bit more complicated for us to learn because a lot of times, unfortunately, we have to memorize them. But luckily, this is only 1 out of 4 possible patterns, and the other 3 patterns are really easy to recognize, and you can learn those and use those as language clues when you're looking at sentences. So we'll talk some more about aspect in the next few videos. So hope this helps.